Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap platform details webinar. If you could just type yes in the questions if you can hear me and see my screen okay. Okay, great. Wasn't quite sure if I was connected correctly this morning. Okay, well, welcome to the Bookmap platform details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. The risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so the goal of this webinar is to introduce you to Bookmap. We'll define what it is, who uses it, how to connect, how to get it, and then we'll look at the interface of Bookmap in the live market. We'll start to define the elements on the chart, and we're going to look at just some of the basics in the order flow. Right now, we have an advanced order flow webinar as well, and that's for subscribers. They've moved on from the basics and basic platform questions. So that is something that you get when you subscribe to Bookmap. You get education. There's a 4-part educational course. And every day we back up that course, same course content in the live order flow webinars. Okay, so the course is always available online, and then you can always review that. It's a good reference, but then you can always come back into Bookmap, the webinars, and see the same course content in the live market, so you understand how to use it, how to read it in the live market. Now, based on our analysis in that live market, we start to anticipate where the price is going to go. Okay, so putting all the pieces together and offering you a really good understanding of what Bookmap is, how to use it, and how to integrate order flow trading into your trading strategies. So let's jump into bookmap.com and define what this is. Okay, so scroll down a little bit. Right here, Bookmap, we are a software trading platform. We have a unique way of visualizing market data. That's our strength, okay? I'll get more into that and define that as we go through here. Who uses Bookmap? All sorts of traders. Most people think this is just for scalping. It's not. Day traders, scalpers, swing traders, and quants as well from the algo or HFT environment. You can read more about getting the edge here. This is what we're going to go through and show you some of the edge here. So no need to cover that right now, but we do need to go over connectivity. Okay, so there's 3 different markets that we connect to. Okay, futures, US equities, and digital currencies. All right, now the data for the digital currencies is free. Okay, so you don't need a data feed there, but we're a software trading platform. Okay, we're not a data provider, nor are we a broker. So for futures and for US equities, you need to bring the data into Bookmap. Okay, you have to provide it. Okay, so the way that you connect for US equities is through DX feed right here. That's the only method at the moment. Right, it's a great data feed. It's NASDAQ, total view, last sale, and you can also get EDGX, which is BATS. All right. Then we have for futures, there's Rhythmic, CQG data, Gain Capital, Transact, IQ feed, Nanotick, and Cedro. And Cedro's for the Brazilian markets. Okay, but you can also get that. All right, now you can also see there are 3 different platforms listed up here. Okay, we're a platform just like they are. So it's better to connect directly to the data provider. But you could also go this route, and you can connect through TTX Trader Pro, Ninja Trader, and then also Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. Rick, you have a question here. Compatible with CQG Continuum? Oh yeah, no problem. So you're with Ninja and CQG? Yeah, no problem. So it's totally up to you. You've got 2 different ways of connecting there. You can connect to CQG directly, or you can connect through Ninja Trader that can be connected to whatever. It doesn't really matter. Usually it's they offer CQG data from the Ninja brokerage. So most traders are using that. Now, so you can go that route and integrate it into Ninja or Bookmap into Ninja. Now, you could also get a dedicated feed for CQG just for Bookmap. Okay, it'll probably cost you about 10 or 15 bucks more. You'll need to talk to Ninja about that, right? So you know, you won't have to pay $50 or $60, but something like 10 or 15, it's something like that, right? So inquire them or ask them, and they'll give you the details. Okay, so that's how you connect Bookmap. All right, let's scroll down a little bit more, and let's go over the different packages that are available. Okay, so you can see that there are 4. Now you can subscribe yearly over here, as you can see, or you can subscribe monthly if you click on this tab. All right, now there's 4 different versions here, and we'll go through and make a distinction. There's 2 for digital and there's 2 for global. Okay, the digital ones are for digital currencies only. The global are for all of the markets, okay? US equities, futures, and digital currencies. All right, so the digital one here you can see is free. Okay, it only connects to one digital currency, but the data is free and the market's always open. So you can always check out Bookmap in a live environment. Now, you might trade futures, you might trade equities. You can still use this version. For futures, you would have to replay a recorded data file. Okay, and that is available for you. It comes with some data files that come with the download. So if you want to see what some of the futures data looks like in Bookmap, that would be the way. Now, I know that's not optimal, but it gets kind of convoluted with data and subscribing and all of that type of stuff. So if that is the case and you want to look at the live markets, then just go for the global for a month, try it out, see if it's for you. If not, you can stop at any time, but you get it for the month. Okay, so that's how you can look at futures using this free version. You can also get a delayed, it comes with a delayed US data equity or US equities data feed, right? So it's not live, but you can still see what stocks look like. All right, that's the free version. Now the digital plus version is you still get everything included in digital, but you get the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart into a live GDAX or BitMEX account, okay, that you have funded. You can also record and replay your data, and you get multiple instruments, not just one. You get many, like 20 for each different exchange here. And then you also get the advanced education, okay, that I was describing earlier, and full support, okay? You don't get that with the free version. Now the global version includes everything in Digital Plus, right? The only difference here is that it allows the connectivity to the futures and to the US equities, okay? That's the only difference. All right, now the Global Plus version here, right? It's all inclusive of everything else we've covered, but you also get our add-on indicators here. Okay, so you can trade right from the Bookmap chart into a live funded account for futures or US equities. You also get our add-on or our proprietary indicators that we created that look at order flow phenomena, very specific stuff. Large lot tracker, for example, looks at larger players in the book holding the majority of liquidity. So you understand what the larger players are doing. You have some imbalance indicators here for both the book and for volume. We have an iceberg tracker. Okay, larger players, again, use iceberg orders. We're identifying them with our algo. Okay, we're starting to see when icebergs are starting to be used in the marketplace by the larger players. Okay, they don't want to show their liquidity in the book. It's the opposite of the large lot tracker. They're hiding their liquidity. All right, and a correlation tracker, adding different markets onto the Bookmap chart. Okay, which has been a fantastic one. We've been using that lately in the webinars. Okay, those are the different versions. And let's jump in to just show you a few more resources here. Social media, at Bookmap_pro. All sorts of data here or information that's up to date, and you might want to check that out. And then also our YouTube page here. Just go through some of the playlists on the front page. Intro videos here, if you're new, all the different features and components. But the order flow video snippets you'll find the most helpful, most likely. Okay, these are really short, concise videos. They go through the concepts of the heart of what Bookmap is visualizing for you and how to use it. Okay, order flow phenomena that Bookmap uncovers. Right, I think you'll find these pretty helpful. All right, let's jump into Bookmap and see what's going on. Okay. All right, I had some oil trades earlier, so we're going to actually turn that off. We're going to look at not oil. We had oil inventories right here at 10:30 actually. So actually, let's take a quick look at that. Anything interesting here? Not really. Not really. Usually, God, we've seen so many other like much more interesting inventory releases here. This is pretty subdued. All right, but one thing I want to show you here, and I'm going to define these elements, but maybe we'll have to come back and review in some minutes. But this heat map here, okay, what it's displaying is liquidity in the book where traders are lined up on. In this case, they're bidding. They want to be buyers in these levels here. Okay, look here. Okay, right at this area here, and do you see how the liquidity is starting to be pulled at all of these levels, except even down here, it was even pulled. Down at 66.85. Okay, see how it went from brighter to darker. Okay, even in well, this area they stayed in the book pretty much, so that's pretty interesting. Right at 67.50, but this is risk that they're taking. They don't want the risk, the larger players. Okay, except this guy, he's pretty consistent here. He's staying in the book. Okay, and that gives us information here. Someone has valued, a larger player has valued oil to be a buy at 67.50. Okay, now I know I might be getting ahead here. Don't worry, I just keep your ears open just for a moment as I describe what's going on here in the order flow, and then I'll define what the heat map is and the volume and et cetera here. But what's going on in general, and the concept here is we can see it before this release at 10:30, and we can see the volume spike here, and we see the volume dot spike as well. The liquidity is being pulled, okay, just some minutes before, okay, like a minute and a half before the data release. They don't want the risk. They don't know what the number is, so they're pulling, right? That's how you get volatility, okay, is when there's not much liquidity. Price gets very, very volatile. Okay, when there's lots of liquidity, well, price is pretty calm and it just kind of meanders back and forth. Okay, until there's some sort of upset in that in the liquidity basically. Anyway, interesting stuff. But interesting to see these guys here at 67.50. I wondered if they have traded yet. No, they have not traded yet, and in fact, they're even adding in more here. Okay, a lot of insight here, right? So liquidity, let's just start to define what this is. Boy, I want to jump over to the NASDAQ E-mini here instead. But this is what you're seeing in the heat map. I guess I'll just cover this one point here, and then we'll look over at the NASDAQ E-mini. The liquidity is what we usually don't see in the chart. Okay, we're usually looking at volume, traded volume. We're not seeing what's going on outside of the chart. So for example, this is what we're accustomed to looking at this view here, right? So we don't see the heat map here, okay? We don't know where they're bidding and offering. Okay? It's all just, there's no information, right? So this is the advantage that you're getting with Bookmap. We're uncovering that, we're showing it. We're taking the depth of market data, okay, the liquidity, and then recording it and plotting onto the chart historically. Okay, so look at the information that we're getting here about this 67.50 area here. Okay, now it may trade, right? I think it'll probably get tested. It may trade through it, but I imagine that it's going to test it at least, but it might not. But we know there's a lot of interest there. You do not see that interest in this chart here. All right, so just the insight that you're getting when you start to put the heat map back on, now you have understanding. Not only are they interested here at 67.50, look 15 cents lower, okay, at 67.35. They're even interested down here. Okay, and they're starting to bid up a little bit here at 67.50, 60. Right. So anyway, this is the kind of insight that you're starting to get and understand. This is where they are. This is where they want to buy, and they're showing quite a bit. All right. So we'll see if it tests and and cover that. Just because it's high liquidity doesn't mean that it can't test or even trade through. If there's more selling pressure, they'll take it. Okay. However, when we start to zoom out and we start to look at some of these areas here and put it into context, we can start to see that they're getting filled at this area here because we see the large transactions. They're getting filled in these areas up here as well, and they're interested at 67.50. Larger players starting to get filled. Okay, as price is going against them, that's fine for them. These are deep pockets. They want to be in at these levels, and they're showing that interest. Okay, so anyway, that's a little order flow lesson here in liquidity. Now let's jump over to the NASDAQ E-mini, okay, and look at what's going on there. Wow, the opposite. Nice move to the upside here. Let me adjust the heat map a bit as well. Okay, that looks better. All right. Okay, now got really ahead of myself here without defining these areas. So apologies for that. So let's quickly define them, and then we'll take a look back at oil and see what's going on. Okay, so you can see the liquidity up here. All right, at these areas here, and it is they're trading it into it right now around this 78.50, and then we see here at 74.50, and then 74.80 that we see liquidity up here as well. Okay, let's zoom a little bit vertically. I'm just interested in the figure up here. And 7,500 up here. Yeah, we know there's going to be liquidity up there. All right, guys. Well, looking at this, you can see a very big distinction here between this liquidity we're looking at and what we saw in crude oil. They're pulling this liquidity here. They don't want to trade. At the last minute, as price is coming up into these areas, see how the heat map is bright and then it goes rather dark. Okay, they're pulling liquidity, right? They don't want to trade, right? So all of this liquidity here has been pulled, and price continues here to the upside. Okay, they did not get filled. They're not short at these areas. Okay, so finally, let's get in and define what this heat map is, and let me take off some of our add-on indicators. We have a cumulative volume subchart here. I'm going to close that. We have a VWAP historical indicator. We have our iceberg detector, and then our point of control line as well. We're going to take that off, and we're just going to look at these three elements on the chart, and we're going to define them for you so you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so maybe none of this made sense up to this point. So let's talk about the heat map. Okay, and just need to describe here this vertical white line that you see right here. Okay, this is the separation between the historical market to the left. Okay, this is just what happened, and what's to the right is what is happening. All right, so that's the difference with this to the right or left of this vertical white line. Now the heat map is derived from your depth of market, your dome. Okay, most of us are familiar with a dome. If you're not, well, then I'll define it here for you. It's liquidity that's shown in the book. It's showing your price ladder. Okay, here is our best bid and offer currently right now. And this number that you see here, and then I think this will answer your question, Rick. Yeah, I think it will. This number here in white is the aggregate view or number of volume that just traded, okay, at that price level. And then the number in parentheses, though, is what is trading, and then if it continues to trade on the bid, you'll see the distinction between the two, right? So this is good for kind of, I mean, maybe it's for visualizing. It's a little bit better for smaller or more liquid markets where you can start to see the aggregate. So the white number is the aggregate. Okay, so if they continue to hit the bid, you'll see this number continue to go up, and then you'll see the individual trades happen here. Okay, you understand. All right, yeah, I mean, other domes do that, like TT, XTrader Pro, etc. They're showing you just the aggregate of what's happening there on the bid. So if they continue to hit it or they continue to lift the offer. Anyway, the heat map, let's define it. All right, so it's all derived from your dome. Here's your price ladder here, and then these numbers, these numeric values, these are contracts. Okay, this is where they're offering above current price. Okay, they want to be sellers up here at these price levels. Okay, down here they want to be buyers. Now we take these numeric values and we transform them into a heat map graphically. Okay, the scale of the heat map is up here from this dark area here that's very low liquidity, then blue is higher, then white, then yellow, orange, and then red is the highest. And you can just see it just switched red in this little area right here. And we can see it's 64, 63 contracts, okay? So that was the highest there. All right, and these guys are still pulling. Okay, now it looks like they got filled there, right? So they're starting to get filled in these areas here, but we see the buying pressure just tearing through this stuff, right? This is going to slow price down though. Okay, unless there's more and more buyers that are joining the party, right? But anyway, let's continue on. I've only got a few more minutes to describe or define the elements on the chart, and then I want to go back and take one more quick look at oil for you guys, okay? All right, so the liquidity, we know the numeric values here, what that is, what it represents, and then we just take that data, okay, and we turn it into a graphical representation. So when the number changes here, you'll see the heat map change, right? Now what that allows you to do, okay, if I zoom out here or zoom back in, I need to show a little more data here. What that allows you to do is, we take the heat map here and we record it, okay, and we plot it onto the chart historically. So now, instead of using your dome for just the very current market, because it's very difficult to use the market for the dome for historical data, okay? But we've recorded it, so now you can use it, right? Now we know these areas here. Well, we know that down in these areas here, they were pulling this liquidity. Okay, actually, it looks like no, these areas traded here, no question about that. See how it's really high liquidity here in the heat map, and look at how the aggressor, these dots here are the aggressive buyers, lift the offer up into those areas and trade. Okay, there's no question about it. These guys are, with the liquidity here, they are short. Okay, that is their position. Okay, actually that happened before we started moving up. It looks like, yeah, this is where they were pulling. Okay, now they're starting to transact, and you can see the big dots here too. Now we're getting a context between the liquidity and the volume. Okay, so now we know what the liquidity is and what the heat map is. Let's define the other two elements on the chart. Okay, they're very, very simple and they're very straightforward. One is just the historical and current best bid and offer. Here's the historical best bid and offer. Best offer is the red line. Best bid is the green line. It's just a recording of it. That's it. That's all it is. Okay. It's even this is much simpler than understanding a concept of a candlestick. This is just price where they're bidding and offering. That's it. Okay. Now what we're recording on that though with the dots are the transactions that took place on the historical best bid and offer. Okay. So you can see the big green dots. Well, the green dots, zoom into this area here, it might be a little bit clearer. On the best offer, these are market buy orders. They crossed the spread, they paid up for it, and they didn't provide liquidity, they took liquidity off of the best offer, and the transaction paints on the best offer. Okay, now we have the data here, very precisely recorded. Okay, if you hover over here, we can see the date, the time, and look at the timestamp there. Okay, that's down to nanosecond level, right? So it's very, very precisely recorded. We have what was on the ask here, or the offer, and then we also have the volume. So this is for a volume of 1. That's just 1 contract. That's it. Okay, so we can see by the size of the dot and the color of the dot, we get an understanding of what traded there. Okay, if you want the precision though, you can look at it here using this data tip tool. All right, now if we zoom out, we can start to see these bigger dots, like this is for a volume of 102. Okay, because it transacted into this very high liquidity. Okay, so that's what we're showing. Right, the red dot is the aggressive selling. Okay, it's the aggressor, market sell orders. Look at this beautiful, beautiful book sweep here. Okay, now this could be a stop run, or it could be a larger player who just said, at this moment, I want as much as I can get. Okay, maybe it's 100 lot, whatever this aggregates up to. In fact, we have an aggregate view here. We can take a quick look. Turn this into an aggregate column. And let's see if it was like 100 lot or something. That, yeah, probably like, something like 150 maybe 200. Okay, right beforehand, look at the aggregate order book here. It's just taking one price level, adding to the next and the next and the next. Okay, yeah, maybe like a 200 lot. Someone had 200 orders, or it could be a stop run, and they took it. They took all of it and they traded on up through. Okay. So anyway, that's this is called a book sweep, and it just means that they swept the entire offer up to a certain point. Okay. All right. So now we have an understanding of that. Now we can also take a look here, and why are we starting to go sideways now? Well, it makes pretty good sense. We're starting to see them getting filled here on the offer, slowing down price a little bit, and curbing the buying appetite at the moment. All right, so we're understanding that context between liquidity and volume here. Let's jump over at crude. I'm just really curious, see if that traded. It did. Good. Okay, let's see how it traded. Okay, because these larger players, they're happy to get filled at these areas, and they certainly got filled. All right, 175 right into it, right there. 175 contracts in crude oil, that's a lot. Okay, 362 down here. Right, so pretty soon you're going to see the same thing here in crude. Okay, because we know we've just identified larger players getting filled in these areas here. So start to look for maybe something else. Start to look for maybe them starting to raise the bid. Maybe look for the green dots here. Look for the buyers starting to lift the offer. Look for maybe targets of higher liquidity to start to come into the book. Okay, and potential reversal. All right, so I'm not saying there's one already. It's still in a downtrend, still to the downside. It looks like it's eyeing 67.20 now. Okay, but and then maybe 67 the figure down here. Okay, there's still selling pressure in here. Once we start to see the buyers come in though, we've got something. Okay, that's just one strategy, one thing to consider or look at. All right, I gotta go. It's time to go to the next webinar. If you guys are subscribed, we'll see you over there. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.